on our land or under the land surface. Please look at the Constitution. Look at the Constitution. What does it say? Mr. Speaker, 9th schedule of the Constitution. 9th schedule of the Constitution, if you look at it, the legislative list 1, under federal list, item 8, trade, commerce and industry. That is under federal list, federal government to make law. Under item 8 of list 1 of schedule 9 of the federal constitution. 8B, imports into and exports from the federation. That is under federal power. And even if you look further, there's a specific mention about minerals. 8J, subject to item 2C in the state list. I will come to that later. Subject to item 2C in the state list, development of mineral resources, mines, mining, minerals, mineral ores, oils and oil fields, sell, purchase, import and export of minerals, mineral oil, ores, petroleum products, regulation of labor and safety in mines and oil fields. And those matters are all under federal list. And what do we have as a state list? If you look at list 2 of the 9th schedule, which is state list. List 2, item 2. Item 2C. Item 2C. Item 2, except with respect to the federal territory of Kuala Lumpur, Labuan and Putrajaya, land including C, permits and licenses for prospecting mines, mining leases and certificate. What does it mean by prospecting mines? According to the definition in Google, prospecting means searching for mineral deposits in a place, especially by means of experimental drilling and excavation. So what do we have? What rights do we have? Under the Constitution, which was drafted and consented to by the Barisan National Government.
Yeah.
What do we have in respect of the mine, the ownership of the mine, which include oil field, oil and gas? Yeah, point of order.
I think Sentosa has happened so much away from the topic.
No.
It's a bill.
We are discussing about distribution of gas. The issue of rights, it's not about whether it's under the state or whether it's under federal or what. We are discussing here is on distribution of the gas.
No, it's oil and gas.
So possible just to confine ourselves to that.
Mr. Speaker,
Ông bày on.
Mr. Speaker, I was just addressing on the speech of the
Minister.
Honorable Minister who tabled the bill. And are you saying what he said just now when he tables the bill is irrelevant? And we are talking about distribution of gas. And I hear a lot of the BN, especially the SUPP representatives here in this house, talk as if we have won a big battle in the devolution of power from the federal to the state. What sort of devolution of power are you talking about? I'm just bringing you down to earth.
Yes.
Don't be fooled by the propaganda, the false propaganda of the Barisan National Government. When you are talking, the rakyat of Sarawak wants the government to demand.
Distribution of gas.
Yes, this is the point exactly. Now we are talking. I was on the point of distribution of gas until Asajaya distracted me. Mr. Speaker, you see I got distracted now. So Mr. Speaker, I'm just telling this House, honorable members, don't shock sendiri. Don't shock sendiri. You know, in Hokkien it is called kaki gong, kaki sa.
Shock sendiri.
Honorable Member for Sentosa is Article 95C within the Petroaco together and with IGC give power to the state. The old law is repealed, the new law is introduced, so confined to that.
I know. I have to put it in the perspective whether some of the clauses of this gas distribution gas
Contravene.
bill may even contravene the Constitution, the federal Constitution. Who said this is parliamentary matter? Bringing out in the parliament? You are so ignorant. You are so ignorant. You think state law, if it contravenes the federal constitution, it will become valid law?
Stupid.
Are you so ignorant of that position of the law? Mr. Speaker.
Article 75.
Let me get my thoughts back. Where was I? Oh yeah, about you guys shot sendiri. You guys shot sendiri.
Shot sendiri.
Shot sendiri.
Shot sendiri.
Mr. Speaker, Yang Amat Berhormat has said in this very house that Territorial Act is not valid because it has not the consent of this Dewan and the state government. As such, the oil belongs to us. But why only speak in this house and why only talk in Sarawak? And if really it is the case that gas and oil, by virtue of the revocation of the proclamation, belongs to Sarawak, why does the state government sign an agreement with Petronas for the supply of 450 million cubic feet of gas daily? If it is really ours,
then why sign?
Then why sign an agreement to buy something that belongs to you? Isn't that ridiculous? I will not use the word stupid. Isn't that ridiculous? So what is the true position of the law? I'm sure Yang Amat Berhormat, the Chief Minister, being a senior counsel, and Mr. Speaker, yourself, you are also legally trained, have a legal mind. But if it is yours, you don't have to buy it from others. What is yours? So why does the state government sign the agreement to get the supply of 450 million cubic feet of gas daily from Petronas? Because
it is yours. Upon being extracted, developed, then you can have it back. Part of it.
Mr. Speaker, let the minister answer. Let the minister answer. Because you are the speaker.
Doctor.
If I argue with you, you may turn off my mic. If I argue with you, you may turn off my mic. You are the judge and you want to be the litigant. Cannot. The speaker does not speak. In the first place,
since you're very adamant about this,
Mr. Speaker,
in the first place, upon being developed into a commodity, then give a shade, and that's why.
Mr. Speaker, it is
Contravene.
It's just self-contradictory. Your action does not reflect what you say. Your action does not reflect what you say. And Mr. Speaker, for so much said about the cordial relationship between the state and the federal, especially when it comes to negotiation for all these gas, extra oil, extra contract, petroleum contract, for all the cordial relationship spoken, Mr. Speaker, at the end of the day, even a small matter like employment policy of Petronas, the state government has to go to the extent of imposing a moratorium on the work permit of Petronas worker in order to impose our will. So therefore, this Petronas, yeah.
You can disagree within families and among friends. You cannot think the same all the time.
Pardon?
You can disagree among friends. That's why the negotiation. But within the family.
So that's what I would like to clarify the position of the law, and I hope the Barisan National Government don't continue to bluff the people. Don't continue to bluff the people. Our oil, our gas has long been sold out to the federal government and Petronas already.
By who?
Yeah.
By who? By the Barisan National Government. That is as clear as crystal.
As clear as crystal.
By the so-called local party. So, Mr. Speaker, I'll go on to the policy which the introduction of this bill which we will propose. Mr. Speaker, one fundamental question to ask for the purpose of the introduction of this bill. Is it going to benefit the layman on the street? Are we going to look at a reduction in our gas cylinders, like for the hawkers, food vendors? They are buying one gas tank a day, about 30 bucks, 30 ringgit Malaysia. One tank a day. How much is the price of the gas? Is going to be reduced after the introduction of this bill. And for the taxi drivers, for the transport companies, in West Malaysia, taxi drivers enjoy natural gas, which is 1/3 the cost of petrol. And we in Sarawak, we are the producer of natural gas. In the whole country, we do not get to enjoy that.
This will be responsible.
Yes, but are we going to get it? Are we going to get it? And when are we going to get it? When are we going to get it? Mr. Speaker, I hope, Mr. Speaker, hey, why are all these people shouting? Mr. Speaker, how much reduction in the gas price are we going to enjoy? And when are we going to enjoy it? I hope Honorable Minister can enlighten this house. Can enlighten this house when he does the winding up. Pardon? Huh? I know, we can support, but we have a lot of reservation. You know why? Very often, bills when they were introduced in this August House, it was introduced with the noblest of idea, of intent, with the most noble intent. But when along the way, after the bills become ordinance and it was enacted, implemented, along the way, personal greed got the better of the policy makers. And that is why, Mr. Speaker, it is very important that in this bill there must be some check and balance. And the hallmark of the Barisan National Government, the Sarawak Barisan National Government, is that we Sarawak is a rich state. but poor people. A rich state but poor people. Why? Natural resources are controlled by a few. And laymen on the street do not have the opportunity to enjoy the natural resources. Take for example, timber. Timber.
No.
Mr. Speaker?
You stick to this.
Timber. Timber is our natural resources.
Stick to this.
Dudong may have something to say. Dudong may have something to say. 9 million acres of timber concession given to three states.
Let's get one guess.
Land.
No.
Land also cannot say.
Stick to
Land
this.
is natural resources. I'm just giving examples where there is no checks and balance. There is no check and balance mechanism in the bill. At the end of the day, regulation creates, the regulatory powers became power to create monopolistic
That is a general statement confined to
business.
the technicalities.
Mr. Speaker, we are debating on the policy.
Yeah.
So on policy matter, it is general. It is a general matter. Policy matter is general matter. Yes.
Not timber.
But yeah, I know. The policy on the behavior, the habitual behavior of Barisan National Government. Very often, regulatory power are used to create monopolistic power to do business. So, Mr. Speaker, I would suggest in this bill,
Kota Sentosa, can I seek clarification, please?
oh, you can seek clarification.
I would like to seek the Honorable Kota Sentosa YP. Are you saying that you prefer the gas and the money to be in Semenanjung, Malaysia, and not in Sarawak? If you want the gas and the money to be in Sarawak, please support the bill.
Stupid.
This is SCPP standard.
Yeah.
Try to put words in my mouth and twist my argument.
Yeah.
That is SCPP standard. You can do it outside, you can do it in the public, but don't show your standard in this house.
Yeah.
Since when I've said I prefer West Malaysian company, federal government to enjoy the oil field, but I'm to enjoy the gas.
Move on to a more serious point.
Pardon?
Move on to a more serious point.
That's right. That clarification is unworthy of answering.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, all right. While I'm on prevention of abuse of power, as I look at the distribution of gas, the director himself, has enormous power. One of the power is
This is repetition of member opening.
no. I'm referring to specific now. 7A. 7A. Import of any gas for regasification, processing, treatment, separation, utilization, or distribution in Sarawak. If you have the power to import, but is that contravene the federal list of power, which deals with import and export? And besides that, there are huge power of the directors to regulate, to issue licenses. But Mr. Speaker, we would like to hear from the Honourable Minister. What is the policy to be adopted when the directors are tasked to issue licenses? Is it going to be one license, two licenses, or many licenses? All right, there are things like you see what happened in Sakofa. What happened to the case of Sakofa? It's different, but it is related.
Are you aware of the depth of the law? That the upstream is Petronas, issuance of license rests with the state.
Pardon?
Are you aware?
Yes.
The development,
I'm
the
fully
assurance of licenses lies with the state.
I
Upstream is
fully,
Petronas.
I
So this
fully
is
aware.
dealing with
I'm
downstream issuance of
I'm
licenses.
fully aware. So that's what I'm talking about the policy to be adopted by the licensing power of the directors. Very often, what has been practiced in the past,
It is within
the
the
license,
state and not against the constitution. The
Mr. Speaker,
constitution must take cognizance of state rights.
Mr. Speaker,
Issue the license.
Mr. Speaker, you are the Speaker of this House, but when the matter goes to court, the judges will do the interpretation.
Sometimes the judges come in when the lawyer is wrong.
But Mr. Speaker, say what you may, your words will only have power in this House. Out of this House, there is no authority of law.
I'm not clamping down.
Yes.
I'm enlightening you.
All right, thank you for the enlightenment, Mr. Speaker. All right, I'll just make a final concluding suggestion. All right, just to check on the power of the directors, I propose that a DUN committee, a DUN committee be set up to oversee the policies and matters concerning the running and implementation of this act, and that such committee should constitute members from both sides of this House.
Yes.
And that would, if Mr. Speaker, you are the Speaker of this House. You are the head of this House. You will see the House having a bigger power to oversee what is done by the executive.
Yes.
I've just moved a motion this morning about executive act of contempt on this day one. We'll come to that later. But there is a tendency of the executive to overstep their jurisdiction and power. So therefore, this House, when we approve this bill, it should be sent back for amendment to include a committee from this House comprising members from the opposition and the ruling party, sitting as member of the committee to oversee the implementation and policies of the directors. And if there is nothing to hide by the government, why are you so fearful of the opposition member sitting in the committee? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Why so fearful?
Why so fearful?
Why so fearful?